Did you know a single domino could knock down another domino that's 50% larger in size? Imagine a 2-inch domino bringing down a 3-inch one, and a 3-inch toppling a 4.5-inch, and so on. If you do the math, the 18th domino would be as big as the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The 23rd would be taller than the Eiffel Tower. The 31st would be higher than Mount Everest by 3,000 feet. And the 57th would be the same height as the distance from the Earth to the Moon. What if you could channel the power of a single domino in your own life? What if you could create a domino effect that takes your life from the Earth to the Moon? Okay, not literally, but you know what I mean. Gary Keller, in his best-selling book, The One Thing, wants to help you find your first domino, the one that will allow you to knock down bigger and bigger goals on your journey to extraordinary success. As co-founder of Keller Williams, the largest real estate company in the world, Keller knows how to succeed. He realized that whenever he'd achieved a huge accomplishment, it was because he'd narrowed his focus to one thing. Success is built sequentially. It's one thing at a time, Keller writes. All you need to do is line up your first domino and shoot for the moon. Simple, right? In this video, we'll look at how to find your one thing by asking a key question, and how to put your one thing into practice. For more great book summary videos, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button. If you find this video helpful, click on the like button and let us know what you think. So, what is your first domino? Your one thing, the thing that's most important for reaching your goals. If this question stumps you as much as it does me, don't worry. It's difficult to come up with one thing for any area of your life, from career to health to family to you name it. After all, don't we have many things we want and need to do? I mean, just look at a page from my to-do list, and that's only for today. But Keller argues to-do lists are part of the problem. Shocker. He points out that not everything matters equally. While to-do lists might serve as useful collections of our best intentions, they are often not intentional. I'm feeling really called out. I'm very attached to my to-do list. They can be ridiculously long, unprioritized, and made up of trivial, unimportant stuff. Most to-do lists just get you through the day. Sure, they keep your head above water, but they won't help you build a successful life. Instead of a survival list, Keller says you need a success list. A list that aims you in a specific direction. A list that lines up the first domino toward your goal. A list purposefully created around extraordinary results. Success lists are short, especially when you follow Keller's advice to practice an extreme form of the Pareto principle. If you're not familiar with the Pareto principle or the 80-20 rule, it states that a majority of results, 80%, come from a minority of effort, 20%. To turn your to-do list into a success list, start by prioritizing all the things you should do versus all the things you could do. Ask yourself, what matters most? Once you've separated your vital tasks from the many trivial ones, Keller wants you to do it again. This time, separate your vital few from the vital few. Do it again and again until you arrive at one thing, your most important thing for success. Congratulations! You've just taken the Pareto principle to the extreme. Nice job! And you've allowed what matters most to drive your day. I feel healthier already. It doesn't matter what your one thing is. What does matter is that you focus on it daily. Focusing daily on the one thing that has the most impact on your life will add up to unimaginable success. But focusing isn't easy these days. We're pulled in so many directions. We're overwhelmed by so many choices. I am so guilty of this. That's why Keller created the focusing question. If you're still not sure what your one thing is, the focusing question can help. It's the central tool of the book. And it asks, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary? That question might seem simple, but let's break it down with an example from my own life to understand how powerful it can be. One of my goals is to eat healthier and eventually become a vegetarian. So what's the one thing I can do going forward that will make it easier for me to become one? The first part, what's the one thing, forces you to think about something specific. You can only pick one thing. You don't get other options, so make it count. I'm gonna be a vegetarian! The can do might be two little words, but it has big implications. It tells you that whatever you choose has to be actionable, and that action has to be possible. It has to be based in reality. My one thing is to go online and research tips for making this big change to my diet. The next part, such that by doing it, indicates that you're not just doing something in a vacuum. You're doing something for a specific purpose, and actually creating momentum, which is going to knock down the next domino for you. On second thought, surfing the web won't necessarily move me in the direction of becoming a vegetarian. But eating salads 3 times a week without meat might put me on the path to success. That's a better one thing. The final part, everything will be easier or unnecessary, requires you to find some leverage. This one thing, this one action, will make all of your subsequent actions either doable with less effort or no longer even necessary. When your one thing passes the leverage test, you found your first domino. Vegetarian time, baby. I'll buy my groceries at the all-vegan store. That way, I won't be tempted to wander into the meat department, and my kitchen will only have plant-based options. My one thing meets all of my focusing questions requirements. It's specific, doable, moves me towards my goal, and has leverage. Keller says the focusing question is both a map for the big picture and a compass for your smallest next move. In other words, it provides answers for actions you can take in the future and in the present. It asks a big picture question. What's my one thing? What target should I shoot for? Where am I heading? But you can also use it to ask a smaller focused one. What's my one thing right now? What can I do at this moment to be on the path to my bigger goal? My big picture is to become a vegetarian. But what if I've had a tough day at work and my commute home passes by my favorite burger joint? I'll probably lose sight of my one thing. And by probably, I mean I will. I will lose sight of my one thing. Unless I ask, what's my one thing right now? Instead of putting myself literally on the road to temptation, I should probably find another way home and stick to my one thing. Changing my commute might seem like an easy solution, but sticking to your one thing is difficult. It's hard to connect the present, what you're doing now, with the future. Luckily, Keller shows us how to do it through something called goal setting to the now. By asking yourself a series of focusing questions, you'll be able to connect today with all of your tomorrows. I feel like that's something Buzz Lightyear would say. I don't know why. To infinity and beyond, it has that same ring to it. I don't know. Anyway, get ready to line up those dominoes. First, take one of your biggest goals. Maybe it's a dream or on your bucket list. Something you want to accomplish someday. You already know mine. To become meat-free. So based on my someday goal, what's the one thing I can do in the next year to reach it? Perhaps I'll want to have given up beef, pork, and chicken by then. That sounds pretty doable. Now I can ask, what's the one thing I can do this month to be on track to hit this year's goal? Maybe it's to give up beef entirely. I hate the word beef. Can I just say that? Beef. Horrible. That's the real reason I want to become a vegetarian. As you can see, you work your way down until you come to today and to now. My goal today could be to cook a yummy vegetarian meal for dinner. So what's the one thing I can do now to help reach today's goal? You going to the vegan grocery store? Yeah, Allie, I'm going to the vegan grocery store. Okay, bye, Allie. Have fun. I'll miss you. I love you. Goal setting to the now reminds you that success is sequential. Your one thing connects and builds on the previous one thing. Instead of a messy to-do list, you have one item that you've identified as necessary, as what matters most. And it will lead you to extraordinary results. But extraordinary results don't come without extraordinary effort. You need to not only put in the time, but also put that time on your calendar. And keep the appointment. Blocking time off allows you to focus on your one thing and treat that time as sacred. There are 4 steps to effective time blocking: personal, priority, planning, protection. Keller recommends beginning each year by planning your time off. He argues you'll be more productive when you manage your work time around your downtime. That sounds valid. I would buy that. Let's not forget the importance of recharging after all this focusing and achieving. Right, Allie? Yeah, good job. Nice job recharging. Proud of her. Next, design your days around your one thing. It's your number one priority and makes your most important appointment with yourself. Keller suggests blocking off a minimum of 4 hours per day to focus on your one thing. And if you could work on it as early as possible, all the better. If 4 hours sounds like a lot, it's because it is. But Keller didn't pull that number out of a hat. He based it on the 10,000 hour rule, the time it takes to become successful in a complex skill or subject. If you worked on your one thing for 250 days of the year, then in 10 years' time, you would have logged 10,000 hours, and you would have mastered whatever you'd hoped to accomplish. Hopefully. For a deeper dive into the 10,000 hour rule, check out Shortform's video on Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Depending on your goal though, you might not need to devote so much time. Blocking off 4 hours a day to become a vegetarian doesn't seem necessary. But if I become a vegetarian and then become passionate about it, I might want to spend more time making it a bigger part of my life. I might want to create a blog to share my journey with others, grow a garden to source my own fruits and vegetables, or start a lifestyle brand. These could easily take up 4 hours a day. Near the end of the year, block out planning time to assess where you are and where you'd like to be for the upcoming year. Also, block an hour each week to review your annual, monthly, and weekly goals. None of the other steps matter if you don't protect your time blocks. Remember, these are your most important appointments. Keeping them is crucial to your success. So find a place where you won't be interrupted and hide your phone. How well you block out time for your one thing and connect your today to all of your tomorrows determines your level of success. Stick to these two techniques and you'll be surprised at what you can do in any area of your life. By finding your one thing, asking the focusing question, and putting in the effort, you'll experience extraordinary success. Don't build your days around a scattered to-do list. Turn it into a success list and start dreaming big, so you can take your life from the earth to the moon. What people regret the most at the end of their lives are the things they didn't do. Make sure you do what matters most each day, so that everything else falls into place. Remember, you're responsible for your own success. Let the one thing help you find your first domino. The book has lots of great insights into achieving extraordinary results that we didn't have time to cover in this video. If you're interested in going deeper, check out the Shortform guide to the one thing. Shortform makes the world's best guides to nonfiction books, complete with well-crafted short exercises to help you learn faster and remember more. You can get a 5-day free trial and a discounted annual subscription if you go to shortform.com/YouTube. Click the link in the description below. And support the author and publisher by buying The One Thing. A link to buy the book is below as well. And finally, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss the next Shortform video. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.